track down the 10 deadliest snakes in the world. And by crikey, I had some adventures. Oh! Still got quite a hefty bite. Have a look at this little beauty. Aren't they glorious? This is the death adder. You can see how nippy he is. A little bit naughty. Beautiful specimen. They've got a habit of coming straight back up over their own body and whistling past your ear. Watch the most venomous snake in the world lick me on the face. This time I'm on the trail of one of the most dangerous crocs in the world. And I tell you what, you don't get a second chance with these blighters. I've been around crocodiles all my life. Most of the crocs here at my park in Queensland are animals I had to remove from the wild because they'd become a threat to humans. When a crocodile creates a problem in Australia, the usual response is to lock them up out of harm's way. My work with crocs has convinced me there might be a better solution. I reckon you could capture a nuisance croc, teach him to avoid humans, and release him safely back into the wild. I've just had a call about a big male croc that's been hanging around a campsite in North Australia. It's a great chance to test my theory. But there's one last job I've got to do. It's feeding time for the most dangerous croc in the park. I've got no idea of knowing where he'll strike from. Come on in, mate. Wow. Aggro by name, hand by nature. He's a real hungry animal. Feral pig, best food source, but he's very territorial. Got to be really careful when you enter into his territory. Got to play by his rules. Look at the power of that animal. It's no wonder crocodiles have a fearsome reputation.
The Penguin family, Peter and Lena, and their son were on a hunting and camping holiday when a 4-metre crocodile entered their tent.
Menez is the second person to die a gruesome death following crocodile attacks in the past 2 weeks. On St. Patrick's Day, 40-year-old Kerry McLaughlin was decapitated, and he was taken while fishing in the East Alligator River in the Northern Territory.
The two men were standing waist-deep in water when the crocodile attacked, its jaws closing around the head and chest of Casimiro. After pulling his...
He actually managed to gouge its eyes and make it release him. That's an old story you hear for many years. You hear that's a way to get a crocodile to release you if you're ever bitten. I'm not going to try it out, so I can't comment on any further on that.
2 boats and this float plane from Broome, now in the area where hundreds of vicious crocodiles live, searching for the croc and human remains. In Canberra, Federal Minister for the Environment Barry Cohen says the government will now consider a regime where tourists are fined for being in areas. That attack was watched by his horrified 15-year-old son and a group of American tourists.
All of a sudden, he's disappeared. He was standing there, and I did not physically say that I saw the croc get him. I did not. But all of a sudden, he's there, and then he's gone. I mean, and it just...
You'll never walk away from a crocodile of that size if he's looking for a meal.
It's tragic for both sides when humans and crocodiles come into conflict. Let's hope I get to my nuisance croc up north before he ends up like this. There's not a moment to lose. It's time to hit the road. My team are already packing. These are my croc traps. trap up the front there, mate. Righto. When you're dealing with an aggressive croc, you need backup from people you trust. That's where my wife Terry comes in. And Wes, my right-hand man. We've got a long journey ahead of us to catch up with the latest troublemaker. From our starting point near Brisbane, it's a 3-day drive north into croc country. Saltwater crocodiles are found in rivers and estuaries right across the top end of Australia. By the time we reach Cairns, we're already seeing reports of recent croc attacks in the papers. And the crocs are getting some pretty bad press. We're headed for Lakefield National Park, a key area for crocodile conservation. It's the hottest time of the year in Australia, but it's the time the crocs are at their most aggressive. It's the breeding season, and that always causes conflict. Adult males fight for the best territory, and the biggest and strongest animal drives any rivals out of his domain. He spends all day patrolling his turf. The other crocs know they must steer well clear of him and raise their snouts as a sign they know who's boss. A big male like this will see any invasion of his territory as a threat, and that may include the arrival of humans. Maybe that's why the croc we're after has started threatening people. After 2 days on the road, we hit the dirt. From now on, we'll be eating dust. During the dry, water acts like a magnet for all kinds of animals, and that means easy hunting for the crocs. All this wildlife attracts human visitors too. In these peaceful surroundings, people tend to forget what could be lurking in the water. Barry, Lakefield's head ranger, is there to remind them that this is croc territory. Behaviour like this is plain stupid. There are 2 sorts of crocodile you need to look out for in Lakefield. These are freshwater crocs. They're smaller and much less aggressive than the salties. You can tell a freshie by its long, narrow snout, and while freshies eat small prey like crayfish, a salty might fancy a piece of you. It might look safe here, but a large salty can make himself totally invisible in just a few inches of water. And once he strikes, that's it. Game over. Three days on the road, and we're finally there. Because of the problem croc, Barry's decided to close the area to the public. This is the trouble spot, Old Faithful Waterhole. Barry tells me there's a big male croc that's been hanging around the campsite and approaching small boats. It's the ideal salty stamping ground. Plenty of shade, and these high banks make great nesting sites. Here's where the conflict begins. This is a really popular fishing hole. And when the fishermen come back and clean their fish, they leave their scales and offal in and around the water, and that creates a free feed for the crocodile. These bullet shells are a result of the fishermen getting scared. They see a croc, they think it's stalking them, boom! They take a pot shot at it. I'm here to help humans, but also protect the crocodile. First, I need to have a good scout around the area with the help of Barry and his mate Ron.
Everybody right?
Yeah, mate. This is their patch of bush, and they're going to show me any signs of recent croc activity. That way I'll know the best places to set my traps. Meanwhile, Terry and the rest of the team start to set up camp. The bank opposite slopes gently down to the water. It's an ideal basking area for large crocodiles. From here on in, we really need to keep our wits about us. It isn't long before Ron spots something. Oh, that's a nice little wallow, Ron. Real nice. Be about what do you reckon, about 9 foot female?
About that, eh?
Yeah, nice slide mark in there. Beautiful, cool location for her.
Spend a bit of time there by the look of it.
Yeah, too right. A couple of nice footprints here too, Ron. She's gone back into the water. Nice tail mark. When do you reckon she used it last?
Not too long ago, last night or this morning even.
This morning, yeah. Yeah. I reckon. Well, there's obviously a mature female around, but it's the big male we're after, and since it's breeding season, he's bound to be close by. This is a great crocodile slide, exactly what we're looking for. It's got all the signs that we need. Here's his footprints. As he's headed back down into the water, you can see the distance between his footprints. Gives us an idea of he's over 14 feet in length. His belly's dragged on the ground as he's headed back towards the water. This is a great place to set the trap. He's coming up here to sun himself. Beautiful basking area. He's female just up there. We'll set a trap pretty close by. At this time of year, big males spend all their time cruising around looking for females. Despite their fearsome reputation, crocodiles are gentle lovers. Gradually, they shift into a position for mating, which takes place with the female fully submerged beneath the male. This is the ideal location for our crocodile trap site. This is a natural gully, and I'm going to utilise the crocodile's keen sense of smell to lure him in. I'm going to run barricades up each side of the trap because I've seen crocodiles come in from the side, get a scare or kill the trap, and then retreat. We want him coming up right up to the back of the trap and grabbing hold of that big piece of bait. So what I'm doing here is placing these sticks. I don't use steel or star pickets in my trap design because when the croc comes in and he's fighting, you can hit these sticks and he can't hurt himself, whereas if he bumps into steel, he can break his teeth or scar his head, hurt his eye. So these will break and get out of the way. So we'll run a stream of them up here and along the other side to support the trap. So you can just grab a corner here, lift the corner here, just pull it up for a sec. So what we utilise here is breakable hemp string. And that's tied onto the tree, which supports the weight of the trap and holds it into position. Just a couple of simple knots. So as when the croc goes inside the trap, grabs hold of it and struggles, the string breaks off and the trap will drop loose around him. So the croc hasn't got a vantage point where he can get in and actually break through the trap. This is the trigger mechanism. It's absolutely crucial. So we have a nail low and a nail high, and that supports a little steel rod which holds the weight bags up. When the croc grabs hold of the baits, that pulls the weight bag, whew, down she goes. Wes has spotted our target croc. Oh, I see. Holy snap and duck shit. Oh, we're looking at way over 15. Have a look at that. Look at that for a head.
Looks like he's checking us out. It's probably his curiosity that got him into trouble in the first place. He's a big one, all right. At least a 14-footer.
We're up to the final job now, placing the bait. This is a feral pig. Big saltwater crocs find these irresistible. We've got to get the big chunk of bait up there and a lead-in bait at the front to lure him in. He's been hanging around. I'm just a little bit nervous. What I'm going to do is split the pig open, let its blood run down, soak into the sand, so it's got that real pig aroma. This is the last job, lead-in bait. Now what I utilise is a really strong nylon cord such that only a crocodile can break it. And I string it off the ground so as when the croc comes up, smells it and bites it, I'll be able to get a set of claw marks here and to distinguish if it's my target crocodile or not. It's just coming on to dark. I'm starting to get a little bit nervy hanging so close to the water. Righto fellas, let's go.